This is everything this book teaches about that migration time period. The book doesn't tell any story. It's a list of facts to memorize.
Hold the halyard.
I wish it told me of their experience. What did they feel? What was it like? Aren't decisions like this important? So when I hand over the wagon train to you, who do I hand it to? It's going to get harder today.
He gave you a baby?
Yep.
Everybody, when Cecily and Espen come into the train with that, it changes the lives of everybody on that train.
He needs help! Isn't it more dangerous?
I mean, why take the harder road when you don't need to?
What's the point of going down the hard road?
Why are we on this wagon trip? Are we here to get to the end? Are we here to get as far as we can in one day?
No.
We're here for the experience.
We only got a half an hour's sleep and expect to get little till we get through the desert. We now see a little more of the elephant. James Tolles, 1849. The immigrants at this point were about 4 months and 1,700 miles from their start, but now laid a wide, dreary waste, repulsive and forbidding, with a harder road ahead. The 3 or 4 weeks remaining would require to reach the greatest depths for the peak of human strength and endurance. And though tired and weary in muscle and mind, they must press on through the valley of the shadow of death.
Sunrise!
And there's the sun on the other side. It's just crawling up the back of that mountain, laboriously coming over. It's curious about what we're doing here, that sun. And it's going to peek over the top here in a minute, and it's going to shine a little flashlight down on us and go, what are those people doing down there? I've seen people down there just like that before. Man, but it was 160 years ago when I saw Miles. I remember, that was so fun. I just baked those guys.
Oh, no.
Or maybe I just gave them light so they could see. Because it's our friend and it's our enemy.
Well,
And look what's appeared on the ground now.
sunrise. Yay!
Wave to us. You see those shadows down there? Those shadows have been there before. I think that's cool. There's been shadows there before, waving back at us from the past. People who've been right through here. Some who struggled, and all they saw was the struggle. Some who struggled but realized that's just the troubles of life, and in that trouble are bright moments. And they picked their chin up from the ground. They picked their eyes up off the dusty trod. And they said, look, the face of God. See how just moments ago that was all cast in shade, right?
Yeah.
All cast in shade. Wave to us from the past. See those people waving to us? Give us courage for the day. That shadow down there. Those are the images of the past. Those are the voices that rise up off this train. Those are voices from diaries that you read the other day on the trail. Said, which way should we go? What do we do? What decisions should we make today? I just think that's kind of cool. I'm thinking kind of, I don't know, I guess picturesque, aren't I? Mm-hmm. Sort of romantically in this sense of, like, look how bright our shadow is now. And look how bright the ground is now. Right? Look how bright the sun is. Look how much across that. You've just experienced visually the earth spinning. Which way is it going? Do you see how fast that sun is moving? Which way is it heading?
The sun's west. Well, the sun
West, so which direction is west for us?
that way.
Well, not bad at all then, because that west is California. West is California and Oregon from Missouri, so our trail is doing fine for us so far. Pay attention to this. See this little device here? This imprisons time. This device captures time, which is natural in our life, natural in the existence of nature, and it captures it and it puts it inside here, and then it puts stress in your world. Now, I'll put this in my pocket. I do need to refer to it. You notice most of you aren't using those. I've asked you not to use that so that you can get yourself back into the rhythm of the earth. Daytime and nighttime, and that makes a day. Morning and evening, and that makes a life.
There was a story on ITBS last night. It talked about the Native Americans and then the Europeans.
With their
Tell me a little about the story.
That when the sun rose up, it was daytime, and then when it went down, it was nighttime.
And they counted by night instead
Yeah.
of like minutes,
They did what?
hours. They counted time by night. It's like how many nights it is.
Yeah. It feels like we have all this time ahead of us. And yet last night we did so much in the dark. As fast as that shadow moved, nighttime will come. At that speed. And if that speed for you is this, trudging, any place in the day that you trudge, that won't trudge. And it'll change where you are in the trail, and it'll change what you do in the day or in the night. And I'm taking time to ask you to sense time, so that time is your friend, so that time is something that will help bring joy in your life. We're on a trail that has difficulty, challenge. Challenge is not a bad word. Struggle feels bad, doesn't it? But it doesn't have to be. Struggle doesn't have to imply terrible. It just implies challenge. It implies this is going to be, we got to rise to something tough to this. I want you to sense time zipping by. I want you to sense time going by slowly. And your part in it, your role in it. If you go slowly, if you go quickly, doesn't mean you have to go laboriously. You don't have to go lugubriously. You don't have to be somber, sad, miserable. Look up, enjoy the day. Look where you are. This is the vision that people saw before, and we're so great. I feel lucky that it's still here and that it doesn't have windmills up on the side. Would you love to see windmills all on these ridges right now as you look across this? Would you?
Wouldn't be offended.
Would you like to see some smokestacks of some factories right here?
No.
Would that ruin it for you? Or would you go, hey, that's good, that's progress, we need energy? Because we do need energy.
Windmills, maybe. Smokestacks.
Trying to preserve the memories of what happened. We're trying to simulate something, and if there's things that aren't from the right time period, then it's not going to be.
It takes away from our experience.
Okay.
No.
And then we've got to get going on this trail because the sun is going to, it's not just going to move, it's going to change the temperature. It's going to say, those folks are cold down there. Let me cook that up a little bit. Let's turn up the heat. And then our day changes when it gets hot. And we got miles to go before we sleep. Miles to go before we sleep. I borrowed that from Mr. Frost again.
Doesn't that look flat and dreary and dreary?
The travelers who had thrown their trunks continued with their all on their backs. Family, friends, and even strangers sometimes brought water back, either for pity or for profit.
Men offer any amount of money for a drink of water.
I could sell you some water.
Peter Decker.
What do you want? Pay money or would we trade for it?
$100.
$100.
I have 25 cents.
There would never be enough water. The immigrants passed acres of wagons left to decay.
We soon begun to pass wagons abandoned,
Yeah, there's an abandoned wagon.
some with loads in them,
Over there.
and saw many oxen left. Elijah Preston Howell, 1849.
It's like finding starfish at the beach.
Like the march of armies, each train has left sad memorials of its passage. Mrs. Ferris, 1852.
Did you guys find anything useful? Guys, unpack these 2 wagons.
This has been the saddest day of my journey, not knowing the distance, which has become nearly 60 miles without grass. There has been a great loss in teams and wagons.
What is this?
Pardon Dexter Tiffany, 1849.
What is this stuff?
Around them were strewed many articles in utter confusion. The owners had left everything and hurried on to save themselves. Margaret Frink, 1850.
Things that seemed necessary at the beginning were now discarded as worthless. Even sentiment was thrown.
Merchandise that in the States has cost thousands upon thousands is thus disposed of by the sufferers whose life is still of the most value. Edward C. Harrow, 1849.
Are those mules or horses? No, there's the horses.
There are horses on the trail. If you can get somebody to give you a horse, that's a good deal.
Really?
Yeah.
By now, people were out or nearly out of food.
Our bacon, flour, meal, sugar, and vinegar were all gone, and we had to take felon's fare, hard bread and water. And this we felt to be much better than nothing. Indeed, we were much better off than many others on the road. Alonzo Delano, 1849.
We didn't.
Well, you guys, we need more food than this. This is not going to be enough. And we have flour and that stuff. We don't have to worry about rice.
Yeah, I know.
What?
Chun.
Okay.
Chun. Where's your hat? Put it on. Get up. Put on your hat. That's all that's left. Oh, that's where you got the wire. You sacrificed your hat so we could have wire.
No, not really.
No? Okay, what is your guys' plan for this guy without a hat?
I think we still have a hat.
We can't leave it like this. Does anybody have an extra hat or an extra bonnet? Oh. Okay, you understand that this is not phony. There were plenty of men who ended up wearing these because what's more important out here, your fashion? What?
Safety.
Your health and safety. So what's more important, Chun, is your face, not your fashion. Okay? You gotta be in the shade. Let me share with you a couple quotes. About noon, we reached a point from which we could view the opposite valley. I read that to you yesterday. Oh, as the guard was changing last night, Indians tried to stampede the cattle. That's this area right here. The camp was soon awakened and everybody was running out after the cattle, some in shirt tails, some were barefooted. Everyone was confused, wondering what's going on? Some were crying, "Where are my shoes?" Others were saying, "Where's my gun?" Others were saying, "Which way are the cattle? What's the matter? What's going on?" Some of us soon got around the cattle and succeeded in stopping them after they had run a mile.
Wow.
Here's another one. A more perfect scene of barren desolation I have never witnessed for a barren plain of 40 miles. Never have I witnessed. Here's an interesting one. There's a straight line from where we are to Black Rock. Look out there. Straight line from where we are to the Black Rock Boiling Spring, about 8 miles. That is exactly where we are. We are exactly 8 miles from this. Somebody wrote this standing right here. We're by our wagon. In fact, it might be his wagon.
Whoa.
Because this is an abandoned wagon.
That's so cool.
The man who I just read, who said it was 8 miles away, he drew a picture. He drew a picture of what it looked here.
Oh, okay. Show it up. Oh my. That's the.
That's a picture of the scene you guys are in, isn't it?
Wow.
It reminds you of the abandoned wagons you walked into. Did you guys see any dead animals?
I did. I saw 3 dead heads.
Okay. This man said that this scene looked like this all the way from where you guys found water yesterday, all the way to that Black Rock. He said it looked like this the whole way. One man wrote in his diary, he said, I could walk from the river to the Black Rock Boiling Springs without ever touching the ground by simply walking on the carcasses of dead animals, like stepping stones, one after the other. I would never have to touch the ground. That might have been a small exaggeration, but look at that picture. It nearly matches that description, doesn't it? And why would the animals be in that situation?
Because they don't have water.
Same reason your animals were. The same reason your animals were. All right, let's go get them watered. We're gonna bring the teams and hook them up.
I wonder what this makes that noise. It's either communication or anxiety or something like that.
As hard as the road was on people, it was much more so for the animals, which stumbled and dropped to rise no more. They had seen others fall thus, one by one, and had lost hope. Their bleached bones would join so many others to tell of the suffering of the travelers and so much more the sacrifice of the animals who passed through this lonely, forsaken land.
Horses, mules, and oxen, suffering from heat, thirst, and starvation, staggered along until they fell and died on every rod of the way. The stench arising was continuous and terrible. Margaret Frink, 1850.
Dead carcasses mingled with the deserted and dying beasts of the day. One can never realize the horrors of such a situation till called upon to pass through it himself. Joseph Alonzo Stewart, 1849.
The migrants had now penetrated deep into what was once an enormous, ancient lake bottom, one of the most desolate terrains of North America. Hope was left behind. Hell lived hard by. Death's shadow nipped at their heels, and so did the Indians.
The Indians are bad here. Peter Decker, 1849.
Even the devil could die here.
Our cattle so poor it takes two to make a shadow. William Swain on the Humboldt River, 1849.
I see a pool of water and palm trees. I don't know.
Do you think we should stop? Yeah.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
do you think we should stop? What's up? Yes. Hey Davis.
Go through it. Then stop.
It seemed to be the river of death dried up, and having its muddy bottom jetted into cones by the force of the fires of perdition. Thornton, 1846.
We're checking for water. I don't know about you, but it looks like a dried creek. But this was the Quinn River, so there doesn't seem to be water right now. But maybe there's water underground. Cause see the change of color on the. I checked briefly, but it was dry.
The river itself had died from thirst and was hastily buried, never to reach California. Frigid, cold, and intense, dry heat sucked the strength and life out of everything.
Espen?
Lips cracked, eyes and throats were raw and choked from the incessant diet of dust.
We're pretty close to Black Rock. Should we just keep going?
Yeah.
We only have so much daylight, and we really got to think of that. You know, it's an imprisonment. There's only so much we can do once it gets dark.
It was a fearful condition to be placed in. The sun blazed fiercely upon us, burning sand beneath our feet, our thirst intensified by the knowledge of our helplessness.
Okay, guys, everyone but Ryan, get out for now.
What are you guys
Where's
supposed to
Ryan?
do? He's not in there?
No, he's at the very front. I see him. Hey, is there a wagon with like few people or like not much stuff?
Why?
Is there like, cause we need Ryan in a wagon and Chun needs to be in a wagon.
He can't be in your wagon.
There's wagons going so slow.
Well, we already
Yeah,
have
our
two
wagon's
people.
going
We have
super
two.
slow.
Oh yeah, that's true. We have two people in there. Mrs. Dudar maybe. Ryan
needs to.
He doesn't
and Chun
migrate.
needs to. We're pushing
With everyone,
the wagon
with everyone out of the wagon and pushing,
and
they're
still going
struggling.
slow. Are your mules doing okay? Yeah, ours are catching up to you.
Ours are like fine, but we don't have we have 2 people in there already. We don't have a lot of space.
Yeah, we do. No, we do have room.
Well, if you
We have a ton of room.
The desert.
Get up.
You must see it and feel it in an August day to realize it in all its horrors. But heaven save you from the experience. Eliezer Ingalls, 1850.
So is it true that these horses will get more tired than the mules?
Yes, it is. They will.
Sandstorms and thunder squalls made the road impassable and treacherous. By now, everything, people, provisions, animals, equipment, water, and forage had been eaten down and beat down, worn, torn, and wasted, dried up and used up, broken, lost, and exhausted, frozen, blistered, burned and blown, rattled, shaken, depleted, and thrown.
The wagons dragged heavily, taxing the mules to the uttermost of their strength, and excited whatever of compassion we could spare. William Johnston, 1849.
A man had a baby in his arms, and in the midst of the thick dust was urging up his team. J.G. Brough, 1849.
The desert had to be crossed in one long, hard haul. Start early or start late. Plunge into the darkness and crawl forward.
I have a view so entirely abandoned, so utterly desolate, that the rugged, barren deserts we have passed rise up in the mind like green memories of departed joys. Nothing but ravens and crawling worms are here by choice. The astonished traveler of after years will look vainly for the flood of whitened skulls. All beyond here is uncertainty. The whole is very picturesque, surprisingly beautiful, and the disadvantageous circumstances under which it is viewed, in the midst of utter desolation, could not wholly prevent me from admiring it. Under any other circumstances, I should take great pleasure in looking upon this scenery. Israel Lord, 1849.
Whoa. How about if you ride up here with me? There you go. Get up. Ah, a nice view. Look at that. Beautiful sun. What have you thought about this whole day?
Really long and really hot.
Have you had any thoughts about the emigration, the people that really came this way? I mean, we really are too, but the olden day people?
It just be like really hard. I'm not that sore. I mean, my legs are dry and it stings, but I'm doing pretty well. And then some parts are harder than I thought. Like, before like 8th grade, I wasn't educated in like the wagon train type of things, and I never knew that I never knew about what the animals had to go through and how far this trip really was and things like that. So it is a little harder than I expected it to be, just because I was unaware and uneducated.
Most of the time when we think of the wagon trip, we think about the people and their experience. And what you just said was neat empathy. We don't generally think about the animals.
Yeah.
how many of them suffered and died to help somebody get to their journey's end. So it's neat that you brought that up.
And I also just think, like, if our feet are sore, we have, like, hiking boots and nice sneakers on. And, like, the pioneers, they probably had, like, really bad shoes. And their feet were probably just, like, dying. It probably would have been really hard. So, actually, even though it may really hurt, we are very fortunate.
Should I have you walk for a while barefoot?
I'd rather not.
A lot of people did, huh? Remember that one?
Yeah.
Back in Independence?
Oh, yeah.
And she said, the woman that was teaching you about the clothing, she said a woman had walked 1,000 miles barefoot because she wore out all of her shoes. She had 7 pairs, she wore them all out. Walked 1,000 miles barefoot. She walked across this, right here.
At least it was the desert and not the mountains, or else it probably would have hurt more.
Well,
but
what do you see up ahead?
Rocks, mountains.
So maybe she had to do that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the sand probably, like, it probably really hurt because, like, there are pebbles on the sand.
And it's hot.
Yeah.
Blister your feet.
And cut them up.
Hey, look, we're starting to come up off the playa. That should make you feel better. Look, we're rising up off this desert plain. The diary account that I read this morning talked about this desert plain in words. Now you have it in dirt. What do you think? Think you described it well, or do you have a better way to describe it? Imagine dead animal, dead animal, dead animal, dead animal. We'd even smell that.
Yeah.
We would be driving here in that horrible smell of death. You know, that burns and stings your eyes, just gets in your clothes. That would be all along here for this whole time. It wouldn't be this pretty, pretty view. It would be death, death, maggots, carcasses, people struggling, coming up and saying, do you have water? Do you have water?
Felt today like giving up and despair. The intolerable heat and dust together with fatigue almost makes me sick at heart. Esther Bell Hannah, 1852.
Longer miles mortals never trod. We reached the famous Black Rock Springs at 2 a.m. I had been on my feet 23 hours without food or drink. Joseph Alonzo Stewart, 1849.
Is that an Indian?
An Indian, actually. An Indian.
No, Sasoni. What, a Elko? Gima de
They go far back?
Shoshone are from way over in Elko.
Mama Dubai Festival.
Coming over here for the Pine Nut Festival.
Mama Dickup trade. Dicka. Help you. We have bread.
From
They're
her
gonna
to you.
trade us. It's just to help you.
I'll take bread. I'm so not making cornbread tonight. You guys can starve for all I care.
Do you know the land?
Huh.
Yes.
Would you suggest going on or staying here?
Wouldn't stay here. You guys got any water stations?
We don't have any water. I don't think we can go anywhere.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's go check
out the water.
No, there's the only water right here is hot water.
Can we cool it off anyhow?
Is it hot? Like really hot, you guys?
Hey, use your buckets, it'll cool off. Our animals need water.
Let us get in. Maybe if we ride for half a mile after we've gotten these in buckets, maybe it'll cool down a little.
I'm not moving half a mile. And you can't move. You can leave me.
Guys, we gotta stay together. Do we want to move 5 miles today or 28 miles tomorrow?
I don't think it's humanly possible to go that far.
Or we're gonna have to go 28.
Mandy,
That's
no,
not possible.
Mandy.
Exactly. 23 is not
We've all been walking the whole day, basically. You've been sitting in the wagon, so your feet might not be, your feet aren't sore. Like ours are like really sore.
No, I know, but...
Wait, we decided to stay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That we get behind schedule and we have to go more and we have to work harder each day.
If we're already decided to stay here, why are we arguing about this?
No, I'm not.
She's just saying.
You guys, sorry.
Okay.
Animals. Whoever, I thought we learned this first priority, we need to get them water.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's just fascinating.
Mandy, hold the back of the pen.
We traded that for rope. We got the rope and we got the baby.
He had no parents.
Oh, wow.
That's how our people are. Because everybody's related, you know?
Yeah.
And you're always taking them in because that's your family. So you always take them in. That's really good that you did that. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys, we're looking at the spots for the tent.
Okay,
Go do that. I only have one picket pen. What?
Yeah, did anyone pack a picket pen?
So is somebody gonna stand up all night and watch him?
Oh, I see another one.
Okay, good. Then we have picket pens.
Fire, so fire.
Get the other stake over.
Feed, we have feed, even though we won't use the last.
For 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
So wait, who's working on unloading the luggage? Because we're doing food.
We need to go do food.
Yeah, if anyone else wants their luggage,
I'll do food, but I just need to find out where my jacket is.
No, what a. Bahuna bakanda waiting.
You ready? Is it good?
Huh. Good with chili.
We're eating cold chili tonight, guys.
Okay.
My word. I can't wait to eat that bread.
I know.
Hey, you know,
Campsites were not bucolic picnic sites with a curfew. They were often competitive, crowded, raucous. They were festive, squabbling, dirty workstations with swarming insects, and Indians or other immigrants lurking by looking for opportunity.
This would be good for lunch, actually. Okay, so red beans and dried fruit should be enough. What else?
Too bad. They can't eat more. Okay.
what is that?
Rationing.
Okay, Eric will share. Okay.
Yeah.
I have just eaten, and things are putting on a better face. Not so bad a place after all. Israel Lord, 1849.
Yeah. You want some chili? Oh yeah. I'll get it once we're done eating. Is that alright? Anyone have a light? I can't. Thanks. Just a little bit.
The immigrants were glad enough to go to bed, but were kept quite awake by the great confusion and constant arrival of teams and packers, all seeking water. Shouting and barking and children squalling made for a miserable rest. They were filled with banging and music, with braying mules, with bawling cattle, squalling babies, barking dogs, and the accumulated garbage of human waste, which made for a miserable rest.
I'll just sleep on these.
I don't believe I was ever so tired in all my life. I am so sore all over, I can hardly move. Martha Moore.
I can't move. Tighter.